Hey, it's Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to the Black Belt Leadership Podcast, where each week I'm giving you tips, tools, insights, and resources to help you become a better version of who you are and what you do as you discover, develop, and deploy your own Black Belt leader within. Hey, this week I want to talk about the power of proximity. And I want to start with a story about Bruce Lee. Now, growing up as a child of the 60s, I was fascinated by Bruce Lee. Now, back then, he was known to me as a little young 4 or 5 year old kid as Kato from the Green Hornet. I remember seeing this incredible athlete that drove the Green Hornet around, and as his sidekick, he performed martial arts feats of skill that at that point in time, nobody in the United States had seen on television. Now, like many kids growing up, I was hooked. And like a lot of other kids growing up, what did I want? I wanted to meet Bruce Lee. I wanted to have an opportunity to get to train with this incredible martial artist. Now, if you know my story, you know I started training in the martial arts around age 13. I talk about that in my book, Black Belt Leadership 101. But interestingly enough, shortly before I began training in the martial arts, Bruce Lee tragically died at the young age of 32. So my dream of having the opportunity to train with my icon, this living legend that really set the standard for what it meant to be a martial artist, that dream had been dashed, or so I thought. Now, in 2008, I was inducted into the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame. I'd spent several years traveling the United States teaching predator awareness, predator safety, and rape and assault prevention. I'd done that in a number of schools and universities and colleges, and to civic groups and women's groups all across the country. Now, as a result of that induction, I had an opportunity to meet Professor Marty Cale. He was the individual that founded the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame. And shortly after I joined this organization as a member and as a fraternity member of the Hall of Fame, I got a call from Professor Cale asking if I would be willing to serve as the organization's vice president. A longtime friend that had been working aside Professor Cale was moving into the tactical training world and believed he wasn't going to have enough time to support the association any longer. So it was there because of the power of proximity, being close to the founder and getting an opportunity to spend time with him in 2008, I got the opportunity to step into a role serving the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Now, the Hall of Fame is sponsored by the International Martial Arts Council of America. Who is that? It's an independent martial arts association that's designed for school owners, instructors, and their students. It's not style specific or martial arts specific. Again, it is an independent martial arts association. Now, the membership of this global association gave me the opportunity, and it put me in close proximity to many other icons in the martial arts industry. Now, that included someone who became a very good friend and an adopted family member to my kids, Grandmaster Richard Bustillo. Now, I had the opportunity to meet Sifu Bustillo at one of the IMAC national training camps. He and I became very good friends, and he had the opportunity to come and teach in my school on more than one occasion. He spent time in my home, and as I said, he became an adopted uncle to my kids. They called him Uncle Sifu. But here's where the story gets interesting. Grandmaster Richard Bustillo was a student of Bruce Lee. Now, it was through the tutelage of Grandmaster Bustillo I was exposed to the art of Jeet Kune Do. What I had envisioned as a young child, dream dashed when Bruce Lee tragically died, I now had the opportunity to train in Bruce Lee's art. This blended martial arts system known as JKD, Jeet Kune Do, that was created by Bruce Lee and taught to his students, which included Grandmaster Bustillo. This is the power of proximity. Now, it's also through the power of proximity and being close to Grandmaster Bustillo, I had the privilege and the honor of meeting Shannon Lee, who's Bruce Lee's daughter. The Hall of Fame had made a decision in one year that we were going to pay tribute to the individuals who were pioneers that had passed on, and we wanted to pay homage to those who had paved the way for us. So Grandmaster Bustillo orchestrated a phone call, and it allowed me the opportunity to meet and to speak with Shannon on the phone, and we talked through how we wanted to honor her father at the event. Once again, the power of proximity being on display. Now, Shannon was unable to make the event in person, but she did record a video thanking us for what we'd done, and I got a shout out from her, which meant the world to me, but once again, the power of proximity. Now, in 2015, the power of proximity took an even greater turn for me when Professor Kale passed the reins of the association to me. I took over running the International Martial Arts Council of America as its president and CEO, and with that, also became the president and CEO of the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Now, as a result of that, I've had the privilege and the honor to meet some incredible living legends in the martial arts. If you're a martial arts fan, you may recognize names like Bill Superfoot Wallace, Jeff Speakman, Nate Quarry, who was in the very first Ultimate Fighter TV series, Tak Kubota, the founder of the Kubotan, Chris Lieben, another UFC fighter, Frank Dukes from the movie Bloodsport, and Taki Kimura, who was Bruce Lee's best friend and his first JKD black belt. Now, many of those individuals I met became friends, and I had the opportunity to train and interact with them. But here's what's even better. Many of those individuals also introduced me to their inner circle of friends. And from that, I had an opportunity to meet individuals that I otherwise might never have had the opportunity to meet. Now, this is the power of proximity in action. It's an opportunity for a rare VIP experience that I got to enjoy firsthand with some incredible martial artists. I got to hear stories that many people have never heard. I got to have meals and to spend time and train with these incredible people. That, to me, speaks to the power of proximity. Now, when I think about the power of proximity, I go back to a movie a few years ago. I believe it was 2008. The movie was called Vantage Point. Now, Vantage Point was a political action thriller, and the storyline was simple. It focused on an assassination attempt on the President of the United States. But the vantage point of the people in the audience gave us a different perspective and a different look at what actually happened. And all throughout the movie, the assassination attempt was replayed from the vantage point of the different characters in the film. And as a result of that, each replay of the assassination revealed some new secret or provided a new detail as the vantage point of each character in the movie took you closer and closer and closer to the actual truth of who tried to kill the president and why. So the closer the characters got to the shooter as we went from vantage point to vantage point, the closer they actually got to solving the crime. Once again, the power of proximity on display. Now, proximity by definition is the nearness in space, in time, or in relationship. It's also defined as closeness. Now, when speaking of people, proximity means the nearness or closeness of people or a group of people. So why is proximity important, and why are we having this conversation on the Black Belt Leadership Podcast today? Well, I'm glad you asked, because proximity is important for success. Why? Because it facilitates enhanced communication. It fosters strong relationship. It encourages collaboration, and it allows for easier sharing of knowledge. So think about that. If you're leading a team, proximity can lead to more frequent interactions, better understanding, and a stronger sense of shared purpose. When you have those things, that boosts productivity and ultimately leads to more success as a team or an organization. But I want you to think about this. Proximity itself can make the difference between missing, meeting, or exceeding your goals in life. That can be personal goals, that can be business goals, or that can be both. Now, successful people place themselves in close proximity to other successful people. I talk about that in my book, Black Belt Secrets of Success. Remember, successful people place themselves in close proximity to other successful people. Why do they do that? Because it's in those moments of close proximity that we get to hear conversations. We get to gain new insights. We get to glean and gain a better perspective. We get to enjoy deeper, more meaningful experiences, and we get to experience new encounters and new revelation. Here's the point I'm trying to drive home. Proximity moves you from being an outsider to being an insider with greater access and greater availability. Let me say that again. Proximity moves you from being an outsider to being an insider, having greater access and greater availability. Now, have you ever attended a conference or an event? Have you ever heard John Maxwell or Tony Robbins and been live at one of their events? Have you ever gone to a concert to hear an incredible musician or a band play on the stage? Well, think about what happened. You had the opportunity to buy a ticket. Now, you could spend money and get a general admission ticket and maybe sit in the what I call the nosebleed section of the stadium. Or you could spend a little bit more money and maybe get down closer to the floor, or spend a little bit more money and maybe you had an opportunity to sit on the floor close to the stage. However, for a few select people, you had the opportunity, if you were willing to spend the money, to enjoy a VIP experience. Now, what is that? It's front row seating. It's a backstage pass. It's an opportunity to engage with, talk with, and take selfies with the celebrities that are going to be part of that event. A VIP experience is more intimate, it's up close, and it is a personal experience that comes with special privileges. If you've ever had an opportunity to be a part of a VIP experience or a VIP event, you're never going to forget it. Remember, proximity gets you closer to the action. Proximity creates those VIP moments. But more importantly, proximity can get you closer to the actors who create the action, allowing you to really feel like you are a part and you are a VIP. Now, leaders need to understand and they need to utilize the power of proximity. Remember, the people you're leading need to hear the conversations that you as a leader are having with other leaders and with other influencers. The people you're leading also need to learn to see the little things, the details that they often overlook or ignore because they don't yet see what you see. When you allow them to hear the conversations you're having and see the things you're seeing, what are you giving them? Greater insight, expanding knowledge, and the wisdom that comes from the right use of the knowledge that you as a leader possess. So as a leader, using the power of proximity is going to allow you to take those you're leading to give them a chance to catch a glimpse of a greater and deeper perspective. It's going to help them see what is required to not only meet expectations, but to exceed them. It's the power of proximity that allows those that you are leading to encounter what it means to be a leader and to experience the weight of leadership for themselves. It's part of the training process that we as leaders take our followers through as we're preparing them to begin to lead themselves and also to lead others. When I think about the power of proximity, I think of the famous quote from Jim Rohn, who said, "You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with." Now, think about what Jim Rohn was saying there. If you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, you got to look at who's in your inner circle and who are you allowing the power of proximity to mold and shape your life. So spending time with those that you are leading activates the power of proximity for them. It allows you to be able to equip and to empower them, those people who are one day going to lead on their own and perhaps one day step into the role of taking your place. Remember, people want to be in proximity with those they respect, those they admire, those they want to be like, and those that they want to learn from. Now, as I shared at the beginning of this podcast, I've been privileged to lead the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame since 2015. Now, every year we host a 3-day national training camp that is an absolutely incredible event, whether you're a seasoned martial artist or you're just getting started, or maybe you're just a martial arts fan. We invite 15 master level instructors. Each of those instructors is teaching a different martial arts discipline over the 3 days of camp. So it's an opportunity for everybody, regardless of how long you've been in the martial arts, or even if you're just getting started, to be a white belt for 3 days. School owners and instructors get to learn new things and learn how other styles and other systems are teaching punching and kicking and throwing and all the things that make our martial arts incredible, and they can take those unique perspectives back to their schools. Now, we conclude that weekend event, always the third weekend in July, with our Hall of Fame banquet and our award ceremony. That's a black tie event where we have an opportunity to say thank you and honor an amazing group of martial artists, men and women who are making a difference right where they are in their local community through the teaching of martial arts. Now, we bring in, as I said, 15 master level instructors, and one or two of those that we bring in are what you would call headliners. They are very special guest instructors who have a strong lineage and history, many of them considered living legends or icons in the industry. When those special guest instructors walk into the room, here's what I can tell you. The campers that are involved in the camp, the school owners, the instructors, and the students, they can't wait to have a moment to introduce themselves, to take a selfie, and to spend a few minutes talking with our celebrity guests at that event. And once those celebrities, those icons, those living legends in the martial arts, once they take to the floor to train, the excitement in the room is electrifying. The campers are going to get the opportunity to be in proximity with an icon, with a living legend, and they're going to have an opportunity to train directly with that man or that woman. And that individual, as they make their way around the room, is going to be taking time to work with every single camper that's part of our event. It's an incredible experience demonstrating the power of proximity. Now, here's what else I notice as we do these events, and we host them every year, now 26 years at the time of this recording. Now, throughout the event, school owners, instructors, and students that are attending the camp not only look for an opportunity to speak to the celebrities, they look for an opportunity to talk to our other camp instructors, our regional directors, our martial arts ambassadors, and our staff. What are they doing? They're asking questions. They're seeking guidance and advice, and they're listening to the stories and the insights that are being shared. These individuals attending this event are investing in themselves. They're taking advantage of the power of proximity to engage in a meaningful conversation, to learn new information, and to discover how to practically apply what they've learned and use it in their business or in their personal lives. For them, it's not just an experience, it becomes a life-changing encounter that elevates their personal and their professional lives. This is the power of proximity in action. Remember, proximity moves you from being an outsider to becoming an insider with greater access. Don't forget that. And remember this, people want to be in proximity with those they admire, those they respect, those they want to be like, or those they want to learn from. Now, my mentor, Dr. John Maxwell, often reminds me and others that he has the opportunity to speak into their lives. He says, as a leader, it is your responsibility to walk slowly through the crowd. It is an opportunity to create proximity with those who have come to hear you. Now, Dr. John is modeling what he's seen in other lives. Jesus modeled that in the Bible. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, those individuals also understood the power of proximity. Mother Teresa, another great example of the power of proximity. These individuals understood that people want to be close to those they admire. They want to be near those they respect, and they want to be in the room with those they want to be like and those they want to learn from. So those individuals, those leaders create intimate moments of closeness at every opportunity so those encounters can take place. Now, as a black belt leader, you need to understand that this is important for three reasons. Number one, leaders understand that people want to experience something different. They want to have an encounter with someone they expect, they admire, or they want to learn from. We've talked about that already. Leaders use the power of proximity to provide others with a place to experience that nearness or that closeness with those who are seeking to connect with them. Now, secondly, when people are in close proximity to a leader, it changes their position. They move from being an outsider to becoming an insider with greater access. They move from being just a follower to becoming a disciple and having the opportunity to be mentored by that leader. Discipleship is the next step in the journey as you move from follower to student to disciple and then having the opportunity to lead. What makes that possible? It's proximity. Now, the third reason you need to understand why proximity is important is this. The power of proximity alters the perspective of other people. Being near a leader does some incredible things. A couple of things it does that are very, very important is it facilitates the easy transfer of knowledge. It allows for wisdom and experience to be imparted. It allows for expertise to be shared and learned. And when those that are close to the leader get an opportunity to receive knowledge and wisdom, experience, and expertise, that insight creates a deeper, more meaningful perspective and an understanding of the topic being discussed. And when individuals gain a greater and deeper perspective of the subject matter being taught, it expands their ability to think. And when it expands their ability to think, it expands their ability to say and do and become more. And when they can say and do and become more, they can solve problems at a higher level. They can elevate and increase their productivity. And as a result of that, they can improve the outcomes for everyone that's involved. So again, black belt leaders need to understand the power of proximity. Black belt leaders not only use the power of proximity with those they're leading, but they also use it to get close to other successful people who those black belt leaders respect, admire, want to be like, or want to learn from. Now, let me give you a personal example. I spend thousands of dollars a year to have the privilege and the opportunity to be in close proximity to other successful leaders who are ahead of me on their own leadership journey. I have an opportunity twice a year to spend time with Dr. John Maxwell, the foremost authority on leadership in the world. I have other individuals and coaches I pay to speak into my life, to stretch my thinking, and to hold me accountable. I pay money to attend conferences, to attend workshops, to attend masterminds, and to be in online events so that I can glean from the collective knowledge being shared from the speakers on the stage. Now, why do I do that? Because if I'm not willing to invest in me, why in the world should I ask anybody else to be willing to do the same? If I'm not willing to invest in me, why should I ask somebody else to invest in me? That's a question you have to answer as a black belt leader. Now, I also understand the power of proximity because it allows me to get close to the people that can help me become a better version of who I am and what I do, so that every day I have the opportunity to become a little bit better than I was the day before. I understand that proximity moves me from being an outsider to becoming an insider with greater access and greater availability to the people that can help me move my life and my vision, my purpose, and my passion forward. But I also understand that I cannot give what I don't possess. And I cannot transform other people until I have been transformed. Now, the same is true for you as a leader. You cannot give what you do not possess, and you cannot transform other people until you yourself have been transformed. So let me give you one last story as I get ready to wrap up this week's teaching. In traditional martial arts, you get an opportunity to train with a master instructor for several years before you earn your black belt. All that time, you've been in close proximity to the master, the wise one who is imparting insight and wisdom and knowledge. And as you're in close proximity to the master, you're hearing, you're seeing, you're learning, and you're doing more every time you get together. You're also stretching your thinking. You're also discovering that you are capable of saying, doing, and becoming so much more. And then here's what happens. You don't just experience martial arts. After a period of time, You're not just experiencing the martial arts, you end up having a face-to-face encounter with your own unique black belt leader within. That uniqueness that's within you, given to you by God from the moment He created you, that's waiting to be discovered, developed, and deployed. Now, that same is true whether you're training in the martial arts or whether you're doing anything else: dancing, writing, singing, doing math, being an electrician, being an architect, being a plumber, whatever it is, we all have within us a black belt leader waiting to be discovered, developed, and deployed. But it's only when we're in close proximity to those individuals that are ahead of us on the leadership journey that can help us discover what is yet to be discovered within. We have an opportunity to transform ourselves so that we in turn can transform other people. When we have an opportunity to spend time with those individuals that are ahead of us on the journey, we get to go from follower to student, from student to disciple, and from disciple, ultimately, we become the master black belt leader leading others in our chosen field, art, profession, or trade. Now, one other thing you may not know about the black belt journey, but let me share this with you. Not only do you get a chance to train with the master, not only do you get a chance to listen to their insight and wisdom and discover that you're capable of doing so much more than you believe you were capable of doing, at some point, they're going to present to you, after a period of time and testing and accountability, with a black belt. Now, that black belt is not a symbol that you have arrived. It's a sign that you have benefited from the power of proximity long enough to demonstrate that you are now a serious student who is truly ready to learn at a deeper, more meaningful level. That is a teaching in and of itself. But understand this: for the black belt leader, the power of proximity, being close to individuals that are ahead of you on the journey, that are willing to pour into you, to mentor and to coach and to guide you, for you is transformational. And when you transform, the 10th character quality that I talk about in Black Belt Leadership 101, here's what you learn. It's not an arrival, it's a discovery that you're on a journey of personal growth and development that never, ever ends. For the black belt, there's always something more to learn. For the black belt leader, the same is true. Now, why do I share all that? It's important because I don't want you to forget that people want to be in proximity with those they respect, those they admire, those they want to be like, and those they desire to learn from. What do they want? They want personal and professional transformation in their lives. But they can only get that from you if you yourself have been transformed. Black belt leaders utilize the power of proximity to first transform themselves. And they continue to stay engaged with their mentors and their coaches, attending workshops, attending conferences, and doing the things necessary so that they can daily grow and continue to learn, so they can continue to transform themselves, becoming a better version of themselves today than there were the day before. So again, black belt leaders utilize the power of proximity to first transform themselves. And then, having been transformed, they themselves can create transformational experience and create transformational encounters for other people. And as they're doing that, as they're creating transformational experiences and encounters, what are they doing? They're preparing, they're equipping, and they are leading those people and teaching them to do the very same thing. So what am I talking about? It's about using the power of proximity to create VIP moments. But that only happens when you experience VIP moments in your own life as you're following those who are pouring into you. When you get into that inner circle and you get in close proximity with those mentors and coaches and high-level leaders that are going to transform you, that for you is a VIP moment. From those VIP moments having been transformed, you can then begin the process of inviting others into your inner circle, bringing them close to you, using the power of proximity to create a VIP experience and a VIP encounter for those that you are leading. Now, that, whether you like it or not, is the power of transformation. And I encourage you to use it for yourself so you can then use it to equip and train and release others to go make a difference in the world. I'm Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.